So what's it like riding our upgraded 48 volt Super 73 Z1? 35 miles, 36 miles. That's coming right up. Hey everyone, my name is Rick Cordero. Welcome to Run Play It Back, where we help you with video and tech tips to lead a more efficient and affordable lifestyle. Let's be creative and save money at the same time. Today we're gonna check out the upgraded 48 volt Super 73 Z1. If you haven't seen the video yet on the modifications, definitely check it out on the channel if you wanna achieve the same results. Also, shout out to everyone in the Super 73 Modders group who provided really great feedback on this build. So let's get to it. All right, so let's just take a look at the display. As you can see, we have this voltage reading right here. So right now it's maxed out to 52.6 volts. The battery's fully charged. The odometer, which is about 40 miles right now. We have the motor temperature, as well as the ambient temperature. This is the pedal assist settings. So this, you could move up to 1 to 5. I don't actually have pedal assist installed right now, but this also changes the throttle. And so like it will limit your top speed depending on the number. These are my numbers if you want to kind of match it. I kind of calibrated a few things on here. I used my GPS and changed the wheel diameter to match the miles per hour. So that's how I calibrated it, to make sure that I was getting the correct top speed. So another upgrade that we added since the last video are these Kenda Crusade off-road tires. These are really cool. These feature the K-Shield puncture resistant tire casing or tire liner. So that's built in. You don't actually have to install a tire liner. It adds a little bit more weight to the bike, which I noticed that the street tires, the stock tires, were much lighter. Just something to keep in mind, that it will add some weight, but it is really heavy duty now, and it makes a cool sound when you're riding. Another thing that I added are fog lights connected to a physical switch that's tapped into the 48 volt battery. So here's what that looks like. Really nice fog lights that are attached to this fender right here. And this is helpful for like just adding a little bit of illumination on the ground at night, in addition to the headlight. There's a few bugs connecting the actual headlight wire from the controller. This is why I actually installed the physical switch instead of relying on the controller to turn it on and off. I don't know why that is. It's just some kind of like bug in that controller, but highly recommended to do a physical switch. And then the next modification is this Lunicycle solid state power switch. So this switch right here I installed, and then it's connected to this little circuit board right here, which is then connected to the lights as well as the controller. What this has is an anti-spark feature. So when you're hot swapping batteries in and out, you unplug it and plug it in, you'll get that crazy spark that happens. What that does is it wears down the XT60 connectors. So this prevents that, as well as it gives you a kill switch, physical kill switch, instead of just relying on the controller to turn things on and off. So that's a good safety feature all around. So I suggest installing this if you do this mod. All right, so we got Matt Cassidy. He's gonna try out this modified 48 volt Super 73 Z1.
Seat comfortable. All right.
Yeah.
That pickup is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like a little bit like smaller bike, or it seems like it doesn't weigh as much as the S2. It probably doesn't at all. So it just seems like lighter, and yeah, that first kick was like more than.
You want to take it again?
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit faster?
Yeah.
I like the sound of the off-road tires.
It's awesome. the modifications are crazy because I was not expecting it to pick up that quick.
Yeah.
And then the top speed is better than better than the S1 because I was up around 25. Just on this, you could go faster just on the limited pavement that we got.
Yeah, and Patrick, you have obviously a stock Z1.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to get your thoughts on this. Much different, Matt, if you had tried the stock version first.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It goes fast.
First impression on that first.
Oh, it's great. I mean, it goes right off the line fast. A little more dangerous in a good regard.
Well,
one more time.
One more time.
Oh, it's fun.
Cool.
It was hard not to do a wheelie. Yeah, it gives you a little bit more of a thrill ride when you're on it.
So what the controller that I installed is doing is unlocking those extra watts in the motor. Nominal 500 with peak 1000.
Yeah.
So far so good.
28, that's not.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, adding a little bit of pedaling makes you accelerate a lot faster.
I'm gonna add a pedal assist, even though I'm with Matt, in that I'm not really a big pedal assist guy, but you get a little bit more miles per hour with
I
pedal
like
assist.
pedaling, yellow workout.
All right, so let's talk about range. Now, the battery on eBay was listed as a 48 volt, 20 amp hour battery, which would equate to about 960 watt hours. Now, after doing some research and actually figuring out what a 13S 4P configuration would actually amount to, I believe the amp hours are probably mislabeled on the eBay battery, not a surprise with some of these sellers, but I'm guessing that the amp hours are closer to 12 to 14 amp hours if the pack is indeed a 13S4P pack. With that said, the extra 5 amp hours is somewhat negligible because you still get a lot of range on this battery pack. I've really only taken this out to the city in kind of small bursts of trips. As you can see on the controller, I've only done about 44 miles on the odometer. So not a whole lot, but I have done about 3 to 4 consecutive days of 30 to 45 minute rides without having to recharge. I think if I had to take my best guess, it would probably be somewhere around 30 plus miles, and that's maybe riding around 20 miles per hour with a few spurts of full throttle. The stock battery, really, I think I've only gotten maybe 15 miles out of it. I've never really had a lot of confidence in taking it on long trips because I'd be afraid to get stranded somewhere. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the top speed. I calibrated the top speed using my phone GPS and then as well as the controller to make sure that the miles per hour were reading correctly. And it really depends on how much you weigh and what sort of terrain you're going to get your top speed. Well, let's just do a top speed run right now. This is actually going downhill, but let's see where we go here. 35 miles, 36 miles, about 36 miles per hour on that run. Much faster than probably necessary, but pretty fast. So one thing I would advise as far as like top speed goes is really not laying on the throttle too hard, considering that the motor is really only 500 watts. You will burn out the motor a lot quicker if you just lay on the throttle too long. It's nice to have the option to go at that pace just to keep up with like traffic and stuff, but not really necessary, to be honest. So let's talk a little bit about the torque. Now, the torque is actually the rotational force of the motor, and that's transferred to the wheel. Now, because it's a hub motor, you're getting a really quick rotational force effect, and it's amplified by this controller because it's sort of like the throttle curve is just so responsive, more so than the stock controller. Now, as you saw like earlier in the video, where Matt and Patrick really kind of like hit that throttle and got that really quick response off the line, you know, that's kind of what the torque feels like. If you're not ready for it, it can like kind of throw you off the bike a little bit. It wants to do a wheelie. You have to kind of experience it to know how much different it feels. You know, my first impressions of this 48 volt upgrade is that it's really amazing. It's really awesome. It feels like a completely new bike, to be honest. It really gives you just, you know, more control over the bike. You get all the readings on the display, so you actually know how much voltage, how much battery you have left on your ride, and just all kinds of ways to control and calibrate your bike to how you like to ride. And finally, the last thing that I think is cool about this mod is that you really learn about the internals of your Z1. So you can actually do some minor repairs and things like that. You could tap into the battery and use that to power your lights like I did, or power some other accessory. And you could figure all that stuff out and be able to repair things a lot quicker and maybe not have to wait for customer service. So that's our first impressions of the upgraded 48 volt Super 73 Z1. In the next video, I'll show you guys how we did this awesome custom Z1 seat modification, from the reupholstery to the hinge and all that good stuff. So shout out to Kim DeBoard for helping us put this together. If you want to dive into more video and tech tips, click the links on the side and remember to like and subscribe so we can help you find tech deals that fit your lifestyle. I'll see you guys in the next video.